Hi, my name is Jeff Cameron. On behalf of our team at RDIAC, we'd like to welcome Amy Cameron. Amy is here this afternoon to discuss traveling as an option. If you're undecided out there in grade 12 or 11 on what you want to do, then perhaps you could take a year and travel the world, or take 2 years. I've far too many times I've seen it where kids go into school and they'll take 6, 7 years of schooling, and it ends up that they end up quitting, and there's quite a large sum of money that goes missing from the parents and so forth. Sorry about the bell in the background. But no, a lot of money gets spent, and then kids decide to change paths. So I feel it's a great idea to maybe take a year off if you're undecided on what you'd like to do. And just a reminder, before we begin, after you watch this presentation, please complete the survey found on our website, either by using the QR code or go to www.rdiec.ca. When you complete the survey, you're automatically in it to win a $50 gift card. And from that, Amy, I will let you take it away. Amy broke my heart. She left 4 years ago, and she's continued to travel, and she has her story to tell us here today. All on you, Amy.
All righty. Thank you guys for having me. Sorry about the technical difficulties getting started, but yeah, I'm really excited to share this presentation with you guys. When my dad first asked me, I was like, there's no way I'm doing a presentation. Like, I don't know how to work computers. I just didn't feel like doing it. But now I've been doing my presentation and looking back on old photos and memories. It's like really touched my heart, and I'm super excited to share with you guys. So yeah, I'm just going to share with you guys my journey and what I've learned through my experience, through friends, through talking with other people, and what I continue to learn each and every day. But I guess I didn't introduce myself. I'm Amy. I'm from Canada. I grew up in a little town, Alameda, in the southeast corner. Jeff introducing the video. He's my dad. So I haven't seen him now in, 15 months. So that's one of the downfalls to traveling. But I guess I'll start now. So I guess I just wanted to start by saying, what fills your cup? Often I feel like, especially in high school, university, getting started in that time, we have so much pressure from our outside, our peers, our teachers, our parents. We have so much pressure to succeed, to do a certain job, and to make a certain amount of money, to like have everything played out and know what you're going to do. But at the end of the day, the most important thing I could tell you is you have to do what fills your cup and what makes you happy, because at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. And so I guess feeling pressure to study, this is when I first got started. I was in grade 12, and it was time to start applying to schools and whatnot. And in my heart, the last thing I wanted to do was go to university, because I had no idea what I wanted to study. And yeah, I wanted to go and travel. I wanted to explore the world. I wanted to experience. I wanted to get myself into new cultures, new food, new friends, new people. And so I've just got this little video that I'd really love to share with the kids, because it's something that I wish that I was shown when I was in high school and I felt the pressure to go to school. So it's a 4-minute little video. I hope you guys get something out of it like I did. So let's see here if this will work. Let's start at first start. Wow.
Yeah, just maybe skip the video and
lives. In 2 years' time, all of you will have been finishing your A-levels. In 3 years' time, you'll be studying across the world, studying at the university of your choice. In 5 years' time, you'll have started your careers. Many of you will be in this room working for the top institutions across the globe. You will then get married. You then may buy a house. In 10 years' time, your life will be set for you. In 15 years, you'll be 30. And from then on, your path, your life will be set.
I'm sorry, Mr. Headmaster. Let me tell you why that approach may fail you. I know people who graduated at 21 and didn't get a job till they were 27. I know people who graduated late at 25 and they found work immediately. I know people who never went to university but found what they love at 18. I know people who found a job straight out of college, making decent money, but hate what they do. I know people who took gap years and found their purpose. I know people who were so sure about what they were going to do at 16 and changed their mind at 26. I know people who have children but are single. And I know people who are married but have had to wait 8 to 10 years to have children. I know people in relationships who love someone else. I know people who love each other but aren't together. So my point is, everything in life happens according to our time, our clock. You may look at some of your friends and think that they're ahead of you. Maybe some of them you feel are behind. But everything happens at their own pace. They have their own time and clock, and so do you. Be patient. At age 25, Mark Cuban was a bartender in Dallas. It took till 32 for J.K. Rowling to be published for Harry Potter after being rejected by 12 publishers. Ortega launched Zara when he was 39. Jack Ma started Alibaba when he was 35. Morgan Freeman got his big break at 52. Steve Carell only got his break after 40 years old. Virgin was started by Richard Branson at 34. Getting your degree after 25 is still an achievement. Not being married at 30 but still happy is beautiful. Starting a family after 35 is still possible. And buying a house after 40 is still great. Don't let anyone rush you with their timelines. Because as Einstein said, not everything that counts can be counted, and not everything that's counted truly counts. And this is the most important thing. I want you to be able to create meaningful, purposeful, fulfilling lives for yourselves and learn how to use that to make an impact and a difference in the lives of others. That will be true success.
All right, so that's just a video that really inspired me to go for what I want, you know, and know that it was okay to do it on my own timeline and to be different and, you know, step outside of the box and do what maybe not everybody else was doing, or to do something that, you know, wasn't viewed as per se the best, you know. And so yeah, I was in grade 12. I felt a lot of pressure to study. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I ended up going to university for a year, and I absolutely, like, it was a great time. I met a lot of friends and I had fun, but I didn't want to be there for what I was studying. You know, I just chose a random course to do it. And so I ended up dropping out. And like my dad said, like, yeah, it is a lot, it's a big waste of money, you know, if you're going to go to school and drop out a year later, you know, and get into something else or go travel, you know. So it's okay if you don't know what you want to do straight away. And it's okay to take time, and you don't have to have it all figured out in grade 12, you know, because you haven't even stepped into the world yet. And there's a lot to the world that, you know, we have no idea. So yeah, I'm just going to share with you, I guess, how I got started traveling. And so I was 18. I didn't necessarily want to go alone, and my mom was really nervous. She has never traveled, and she didn't want me to go alone at all. And so a good opportunity was I went with the organization. It was a 6-week trip. I went, everything was included in the price I paid. Everything was planned. It was very easy, you know, if you're a bit nervous to go. And so that's a great way to start out if you want to travel, going with an organization and then stepping your foot out in the world on your own, you know. But yeah, it was great. Everything was organized. I made lifelong memories. Funny enough, I actually started dating my tour guide on this trip, and he's the person I traveled with, I guess, for 2 years, and he really opened my world. So yeah. After my first group travel trip, I went to Peru. I went back home after those 6 weeks, and my life was changed. I'm like, I have to keep going. I have to see more. So I went home. I saved money for Peru, England, then France, then to the Philippines, where I then moved to Australia. But this is just a photo here of kids in the Amazon rainforest. And as you can see, they're wearing little to nothing, and their bellies, that's a bloat because of little to none food or water. You know, they don't have as much as we do out in the Amazon rainforest, and it's not as accessible to get the things that we have. So this is just a little bit more about Peru. Just the vast landscapes. Like, it was crazy. One day I'd be surfing, the next day I'd be in the jungle, in the desert, hiking up a mountain in the Andes. So these are just some of the opportunities that are out there. This here on the right, that's Machu Picchu. Craziest place ever. I took a 4-day hike there and went to the top, and you would never ever believe that that was built by humans. I think it's built by aliens, but they say differently. And then just here on the left is just some of the people in the Amazon rainforest. And again, just like such a culture shock to what we're used to, you know. And I just wanted to put this photo in here because this is what touches my heart the most, I guess, when I'm traveling, is seeing how blessed we are to grow up in a place like we all have in Canada. You know, we're very fortunate. We have a house, we have roof over our head, we have food, we walk to the grocery store, you know. And this is one of the houses in the Amazon rainforest. And so it's just built by wood, by 2x4s. And this is where they sleep, you know, this is all they have. There's no electricity. In the rainy season, they said their house gets completely flooded. And so the river comes up to their house, and essentially it's floating. And they said, like, there's many times they wake up, there's anacondas and there's snakes or like things in their home. And it just really gives me gratitude. And, you know, it's just a reminder again to remember how fortunate we are and the little things in life that we often take for granted. And so from Peru, I went to the Philippines, and I don't have many photos from here, but it was a beautiful experience. I was there for 3 weeks, did some amazing things. That's a whale shark. My mom almost had a heart attack when I showed her that photo, but they're totally safe. And these are just some of the women, again, just the cultural change from what we're used to. And so I guess one of the biggest questions that I get is, how do I afford to travel so much and keep going? And I guess you make some sacrifices for the life that you want to live and for the experiences you want to go have. And so for me, less is more, you know. I go to a place and I work for 5 or 6 months really hard. I buy all my clothes secondhand, which is like, I love it. It's so much fun to go to an op shop, or currently where I'm living in Byron Bay. They do markets on the side of the road, like twice a week, where there's girls selling their clothes. You buy things like that are $200 and you get them for $10. And so that like takes your money a long way. Another amazing thing to do is volunteer. You can go to any country in the world and volunteer doing whatever, really. You could work abroad as an au pair, teach English, you know, work as a farmhand, a yoga teacher. And I guess when I'm traveling, I travel very cheap. And so I stay in hostels and dorm rooms. There's people in a room, maybe it could be up to like 20 people or more. And like $5 a night. And eat local when you're traveling as well. It's always better, the food, you know. And so there's so many ways to save your money. And I guess, yeah, I don't have the fanciest things in the world. I drive a 1995 Toyota Corolla car. It cost me $2,000. the little beater, but like it gets me from A to B, and you know, it works. And so another way, I guess, to save money and how I've traveled so much is I've chosen a country, and I've chosen Australia. And sorry, the dump truck's going by. But Australia is an amazing country. It's so beautiful and very easy to make money. And so kind of made Australia my base, and I just go from there. And so I first got to Australia. How you can do it, you can get a 1-year working holiday visa where you can come and work, but there are some sacrifices you have to make. If you want to stay for a 2nd-year visa, you have to do 3 months farm work. So you have to go to a farm, pick berries or whatever, or you can go to the outback, which is what I did. And I did traffic control. So I was a traffic controller for 5 months. I saved a lot of money. It was not a very good job, but you know, it got me a full another year in Australia and saved heaps of money and made some friends out of it. And it was a funny experience to look back on. So yeah, that's a photo of me. I would stand on the street for 8 hours turning my stop go sign. And so yeah, I worked 5 months as a traffic controller, and it gave me like some of the best, most amazing times of my life. And so my first stop after that was Bali. And these are just a few photos of Bali. I think I've been back to Bali now 6 times. It's very close to Australia, and it's very cheap and beautiful, as you can see. So that was just a photo of me diving. This was a monkey, a volcano that I climbed at 3 a.m. to watch the sunrise, and then just me and a girlfriend chilling on the beach. And so this is one of my favorite things to do when I'm traveling, is get on my scooter and just drive like into the country and see where you come across. And there's just so much beauty, and like the people are amazing. And yeah, so this day I got on my scooter and we drove off like an hour, I think, and didn't have a direction to go. We just went, and we ended up coming across this little local village, and none of these kids could speak English, but you know, you can still communicate, you can laugh, you can dance, you can sing, and they absolutely loved it because they don't see many tourists. Or so it's beautiful for us, and it's beautiful for them because it's different. And then from Bali, I went to Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka is one of my favorite countries. It's so beautiful, but it didn't like me very much. As all these photos look very beautiful and stuff, there's oftentimes traveling is really hard, and you get sick and you run out of money, or you know, different things come your way. You're living out of a bed, you're living in hostels. But my mom told me I need to come home. I also got bit by a spider, and my foot was like the size of a soccer ball. And so yeah, I thought I was gonna lose my foot for a couple of days, but I got it all sorted and it was okay in the end. And then from there, I went to India, and India is one of the craziest places I've ever been in my life. And I think it's probably the craziest country in the world. Super love-hate relationships, but it's one of the only countries that I went back to, which is funny. But after 30 days there, I was like, I need to get out of here. It's like such rich culture, amazing food, so much spiritual knowledge, you know, and it was just a crazy experience. And this is just some of the photos. I spent my birthday out in the sand dunes there under the stars with absolutely nobody, just a few of us, and it was amazing. But this is, yeah, you can just see the clothes, and you know, they don't have much, but they're, you know, they're very happy people, and that just shows we don't need much to be happy. And this is in India, and so I just really wanted to take a minute to look at this photo on the left, because I just feel like we are such a greedy society back home or wherever, you know, we take and take and take, and sometimes we forget to give. And India has 1.3 billion people living in it, and there's 78 million people who are living in the slums. And this photo wasn't even the slums. Like, the slums is far, far worse, but that's more than the population of Canada. So just if you thought about it, like, it's just absolutely mind-blowing. But this was a photo taken in India that I took, and you know, this mom couldn't afford for her kids to go to school, and so I think they were ages of 3 and 7, and they were laborers. So imagine like your little brother or sister being a laborer at the age of 3 and building homes and, you know, sleeping in this rubbish, you know. And the little boy behind, he had a broken foot, and obviously you can see he was quite upset and crying. And it was the mom who was like the laborer as well. So it's just so important to take a minute and just like be grateful for what we have, you know. And then on the right, this is just a photo of a guy reading the news, but so many people in India, like everywhere you look, there's somebody sleeping on the side of the street on newspaper. And so it's just really heartbreaking. And I just really wanted to share this. And this is just a couple more photos of India. Some kids playing. And then from India, I went to Nepal, and Nepal was like one of my absolute favorite experiences yet. This photo here is of Sam. He was my ex-partner who I did a lot of traveling with. And him and his dad have an organization called Adventure Aid Nepal. So if you're keen, check it out. It's a volunteer program in Nepal where they went and they've built 11 schools and painted, and they work with the kids. And so what I did, there was a group of us friends that went, and we raised money. I think we raised like, I can't remember now, maybe 15 grand or something. And we raised money, and we gave all the kids new backpacks, new clothes, new shoes. We went and painted the schools and built them toilet blocks, and just went and played with the kids and had an amazing time, gave them pencils. And yeah, it was one of the best experiences of my life. And these are just some photos of the kids here. These here are the backpacks and the pants and outfits that we gave them, and the kids, they were so excited. So this is a beautiful, beautiful thing to do if you are scared to go and travel on your own. You know, choose a country and go and volunteer. There's so much that you could do for the world, and even 3 weeks, you know, it's such a beautiful opportunity that you could never regret. And so this is just some of the work that we did at the schools. And the reason they were rebuilding schools and stuff is because there was an earthquake in 2011 and it knocked down schools. And so none of these kids even had a place to go and study, you know. So they were so excited to just be able to gather with their students again and friends and go and play and have a safe place to learn. And here's just some of the kids. And yeah, I just wrote a little quote. It's my dad's favorite quote. And I said, people will forget what you said and people will forget what you did, but they will never forget the way that you make them feel. And so, yeah, the people in Nepal, they have so little, but they just hold so much kindness and love towards everything. And, you know, they showed me so much love and gratitude. And I guess most important, it is how to be a good person and be kind, you know, like I'd be walking in the mountains, there's no road access, and the kids would come out and they'd ask me for a pencil so they could do their homework, you know, and they were just like so sweet. And I just wanted to show this is just a little And so all 3 of those kids were blind. We went and visited a school for people with disabilities, and it was just such a crazy experience. They lived in a school with 3 floors, and the school was kind of like falling apart. And you know, these kids, they were blind, and they had a little music school, and they were just so happy and shared so much love. And yeah, that's just a video that really touched my heart. And so after we did 3 weeks volunteering, we hiked to Mount Everest Base Camp. which was an amazing experience. As you can see, it's 5,364 meters. So we had to do some elevation training, and it was pretty crazy. There was people being flown out on helicopters because they got altitude sickness, and like people just like, some people didn't make it and some people made it. And for the ones that did, it was really, really beautiful. And this is, I guess, just a perspective. In many countries, there's not road access throughout the whole country. And so they have donkeys and whatnot to carry their supplies. And not only donkeys, they carry it on their backs. And I've never seen anything like it in my life. They would be carrying like 6 massive suitcases and carrying it on their backs for miles and miles and miles. And that's how they transport food and, you know, beds, chairs, couches, like all the craziest things. And this was how they cooked the food, and it was the best food in the world. And they just did it over a little fireplace. And this is just, brought my Canadian flag with me to Everest Base Camp. These are my Sherpas. They were so lovely. This is just one day here on the right. We did altitude training so that we could make it up. We had to go up and then down and up and down. And we woke up, I think, at 3 a.m. and did this hike. So it was very challenging, but very rewarding and beautiful. And then from there, I went to Bhutan, and Bhutan is a very sacred country. It's very tiny. They don't allow many tourists in the country. And again, I had the craziest experience. We flew in between these 2 mountains, and I'll never forget. We landed on this runway, and I got off the plane, and I looked around, and there was absolutely nothing. There was just a car there to pick us up, and it was so cool. No buildings. And then from there, the car took us, and they drove us like 15 kilometers. And then from there was no road access, so we had some donkeys waiting for us, and we went 2 weeks trekking in their country, and it was so beautiful. And as you can see, their clothes and whatnot are very traditional. You know, they're wearing animal fur and skin, and the women work really, really hard, as well as the men. And this is the toilet that I had for the month. You know, they just dug a hole and put a little seat there, and I was sleeping in this tent. To put in perspective, I slept in a tent for 3 months. So that was a challenge, but it was a good one. And here there's a photo of me and one of the local ladies. That's the clothes that they wore. And this is the family I went with, Sam's family. They're so beautiful. And everyone's just so welcoming. Every time we came to a new town, everyone came out. They offered us, like, they don't have much to offer, but they offered us this local drink. It's called Aura, and it like would be like drinking straight vodka, and it would be rude not to take a sip. So every morning it'd be like 6 a.m. and they'd pour us this massive cup of this drink that was like pretty much straight vodka, and it'd be rude. So, you know, we had to take some. Ugh, it was nasty, but it was a funny experience. And then from there, that was 6 months traveling. So I went back to Australia to save some money again. My sister joined me, which was amazing. Me and her worked in this little juice bar right next to the beach. We played loud music, we surfed, practiced a lot of yoga. And then I set off again. I was there for just 3 months. And then I went back to Bali. And these are just some photos of me and my sister having a blast in Bali. Again, we're just being silly, and we spent 2 months there together, me and my sister and my best friend, and it was the best time ever. Yeah, we always drive around on these little scooters. And then from there, from Bali, we just did a quick trip to Cambodia. I don't have too many photos, but this was a floating village, if you can see. So the town was on water, and it was so crazy because we drove by on this little canoe, and all the kids were in school, and this bell went off, and all the kids came out, and they only had about like 1 meter to play outside of the school before it was water. And so it was just like so cool to see. And this is just some more of Indonesia. I went back to Indonesia for another couple months after Bali. And then I went home, and so this was the first time I seen my family in 17 months, and I surprised them. I didn't tell anybody I was coming except for Lindsay, obviously, because we were in Bali together. And yeah, no place or experience could ever beat the feeling of giving my family a hug again. So I was home, I saved some money, visited them, had a beautiful time. Give your family a hug if you're at home with them, because I miss mine dearly. And now I'm back to Australia. I had no plan. I just booked a flight. I came here and I worked for a couple months, practiced a lot of yoga, and I was kind of ready by this point to get some roots and kind of figure out what I wanted to do next. So classic, I booked another plane ticket to Bali just to practice some yoga and like dive deeper into myself and my self practice. And yeah, this is a photo in Australia, just my surfboard and the beach, nobody around. So I then went to Bali again, and my sister met me again. And I guess this was when I kind of wanted to set my roots. And I was sitting in my dorm room and I was like, oh, what do I want to do next? Something of like a rich meaning for myself, to figure out who I am and what I want to do next. So I think I'd been traveling now for like 2 years and had the most amazing time ever. But I was sitting in my room and I was like, I want to go practice yoga, not so much to become a teacher, but just to practice meditation and being with myself and practicing being present. And so I booked a ticket to India, a one-way ticket, just on my own, which I was really nervous about because India is quite hectic. My mom was freaking out. I think there was like actually like a war happening in Pakistan at the time. And mom was like, you're not going, but I never listened, obviously. And I went to India and I'm like, I'm going to do this yoga teacher training. And so I went, it was very spontaneous. I went and did a 200-hour yoga teacher training. Yoga was birthed in India, so I wanted to do it there. And from there, it just like really grounded me. And I knew that I wanted to go back to Australia and do something of purpose and do a job that fulfilled me, because after all my time spent traveling, I kind of had finally found like what I wanted to do for a job and what inspired others and what inspired me. And so this is just a couple of photos from my yoga teacher training. It was very hard. We're waking up every day at 5 a.m., practicing from 6 until 8 at night, doing different practices and cleanses. And yeah, it was 1 month, but it was absolutely amazing. It changed my life. And so where am I now? After my yoga teacher training, I came back to Australia and I had it in mind. I want to be somewhere that inspires me. I want to be around people that inspire me and like-minded people. And so I live in a place, it's called Byron Bay in Australia, and it's a little beach town. You could compare it to Whistler. It's kind of a summer version of Whistler. So there's travelers from all over the world. You know, I'm living with a Brazilian and Italian, and all my friends are from everywhere in the world. And I came back here and I was like, you know what, I know my worth and I know what I want to do now. And I'm done applying for hospitality jobs and little jobs to like make heaps of money, and I want to do something of value. And so I got a job working for people with disabilities, and I worked for a year working for an organization, and now I'm a freelancer. So essentially I kind of have my own business working for people with disabilities, and it absolutely fills my cup. And so I guess going back to my first question, what fills your cup? You know, we all have the choice to have our cups filled, and you just need to listen to your heart. You need to listen to what makes you happy and not the influences of the outside world, you know, because when you're happy, the people around you are happy. And you just need to know that you can do anything that you want to do, and you just need to set your mind to it. And it's okay if you want to be a chef, a painter, a doctor, you know, traveler, a musician. As long as you're happy at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. And so, yeah, now I'm here in Australia. I'm very happy and living in sunshine and surfing and practicing yoga. And eating fresh food from the farmer's market. It's a very beautiful life. And I just wanted to finish. This is just a photo of a little girl that I was playing with in Bali. But first, be kind to yourself, and then let your kindness fill the world, you know. If there's one thing I've learned is being a good person and being a kind person. If you take that out into the world with you, like no matter what you do, you're going to be okay, and you'll find your path. There's no time limit, you know. If you know what you want to do, that's amazing. And if you don't know what you want to do, that's okay too, because oftentimes that's going to change anyway. So I guess I'd like to say thanks for letting me share my journey with you guys, and just hang on, because it's going to be a crazy ride, but you're going to be okay. And always come back to your breath, come back to the present moment, because in the end, that's all that really exists, you know? So yeah, good luck, and enjoy the crazy opportunities that are out there for you guys. And that's the end.
Amy, if you just want to put a picture back up for a moment instead of just a black screen while we talk.
Yeah.
Sure. And I just want to say thank you so much. It's a double-edged sword, of course, for me, being your dad and mom. We miss you horribly. And actually, my stomach feels kind of, I'm not sure, I actually feel kind of sad here because of your words that you mentioned. And so I just have to think of when John Lennon was 5 years old, his mother always told him that happiness was the key to life. When he went to school, they asked him what he wanted to be when he grew up, and he wrote down happy. The teachers told him that he didn't understand the assignment, and he told them that they didn't understand life. So I'm a little emotional here just from your presentation, and I love you lots, and I miss you, and I'll maybe let Annette take over here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Amy. Those are awesome pictures, and boy, we're envious in the office here too, because we both love to travel, and we've done a fair amount of
Sorry, I'm trying to get back to my slideshow here. There we go.
Nothing as ambitious and as courageous as you have in your life as a traveler too. So thank you.
So the work that you do,
Yeah.
You're working with handicapped people. What are you doing? Are you working kind of as a teacher, following your dad?
Yeah. So I'm a support worker, and I started off working for an organization. I do things like just daily care, support. I get them out into the community. You know, it's all about just supporting their needs and enhancing their qualities of life, you know, because they're just like us, and they want to live a fulfilling life as well, and they just need a little bit more help. So now I actually work for myself, which is really cool, and I have 6 different people that I work for, and I guess the day in the life, it's always different. Last week, we went for a walk next to the beach, have picnics. I take them swimming to get exercise. We do art, we do music, we travel. Next week, I'm going on a 4-day holiday, actually. I'm taking one of them on to a resort, and she's in a wheelchair, and she's so beautiful. She has cerebral palsy, but she's one of the most important people in my life. And it's just, yeah, supporting people with their life, with little things that they can't do on their own.
Yeah, you're making a difference. It's all perspective, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is. Life is perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Amy. This was a very good presentation.
Well, Amy, just in closing, I'd just like to say for the kids out there, you have sure, as Gord mentioned, given them some perspective, and Renette, you know, giving us all perspective on the value of life. And sometimes we forget how much we have, and you know, gratitude is such a, I don't know, we just seem like we don't have near as much as there should be in this world today. So thank you for sharing this with the students of Saskatchewan and across and with us. And I'm sure it's going to open some eyes for a lot of students who are undecided on their path going forward. You take care. Thank you.
Thank you guys very much for having me, and I hope I've inspired some of you in some sort of way or another. And good luck.